My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth. As part of the Secret Recordings Network, brand new episodes fortnightly. That means every other week. So make sure you subscribe. If you don't subscribe to the podcast, then just do that. Just hit that subscribe button. And then when there's a new one, it'll be there for you. Brand new guests every episode. In fact, today we've got an actual full-on family on the podcast. We'll be getting all the latest news from the parks. I've got a great top tip if you're worried about losing your kids in the park. And your questions. I've got a couple of questions to get through here. Bobby wants to know, if I rent out DVC points, if I go on a DVC stay, can I still add the Disney dining plan? Bobby, yes, you can, wherever you get them from. Once that reservation has been confirmed, you've got your reservation number, you can add your dining plan onto that. The good thing is, with doing it on a DVC, especially if you're having different resorts, say you're doing 4 nights at Animal Kingdom and then 4 nights at Bay Lake Tower, for example, you can actually just have the dining plan for 4 of the nights. So rather than have it for your entire stay, you just have it per reservation. So that's a good way of doing it if you only want to go for a few restaurants on a few nights. It's a good way of doing it. But yeah, however you rent out your DVC points, just let them know you want to add the dining plan. And once it's all confirmed, you can add that on. Matthew wants to know about the international programme. So, you know, sometimes you'll go to Epcot and you'll see somebody behind the bar from the UK. How do you get involved in that? My son is interested in it next year. The Disney College Programme is what you need to look up. And if you go onto the Disney Careers website, there's a link from there. Disney's international programs is what you need to look for. jobs.disneycareers.com is their website for jobs at Disney. Have a look at that. And, well, hopefully, good luck for the future if he gets involved. And then you can go on loads of holidays because you want to see him, obviously. You want to get in touch with the podcast, you got a question, you want to tag us in some pictures, you want to be a guest, give me a shout. At Podmagical is where we are. This is the first time we've had an actual full family on. It's not the Von Trapps, it's the Price family. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Hi there.
Let me introduce you. So we've got Mum and Dad Paul and Catherine, and we've got James, and we've got Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's right. Correct.
And you are all fresh back from Walt Disney World over the summer holidays.
Yeah, we got back 2 weeks ago, and the blues are real.
Yeah, they don't go away, do they, the Disney blues?
No, they don't, sadly, no.
I think they get worse with each trip, actually.
I think so, yeah.
It makes you just want to book another one while you're in the airport on the way back. That's usually what most people do. So before we get into this trip, let's go way back, because Paul, you were telling me that 1992 was the first time you went. So you've been, about 7 times to Disney World?
That's right. Yep, 7 times over the years. So lucky enough as a kid, I went with my family. So 92, I was just a teenager. And then went back in 93. So I think the Disney blues struck straight after the first trip, and we went back. And then 98, went for Christmas, which was really nice.
Oh, wow.
And then year 2000, and then a gap. And then we've back as a family a few times since then.
What do you remember about that first trip in 1992? What was it like? Any memories of that?
It's funny, actually. They kind of the Disney part of it all blurs into one. So I remember kind of the general feelings, but the specifics of any part of Disney kind of are a bit of a blur. And then there's other stuff that stands out from kind of outside the parks more, which is a bit odd, really, when I think. But no, much better memories from kind of or much clearer memories from the recent trips.
From recent ones. What is it that you did remember about 1990? You say outside the parks.
I don't know, it was Busch Gardens, actually. I've got a funny memory of going on the safari, like the safari tour at Busch Gardens, and being chased by the ostriches, and that really sticks in my head. They apparently can't tell the difference between the lorry and food, so they just chase it and peck it the whole time. So right. Kind of a funny memory of ostriches pecking one side and a giraffe coming the other way to try and get food from the keeper.
So, Catherine, when you met, were you aware that Paul was a Disney World fan? Were you expecting like you'd be going on holidays to Florida?
I wasn't, actually. He kept it pretty well hidden, and I'd only been to Disney once when I was younger, and that was a school trip to Disneyland Paris a long time ago, and it was still Euro Disney, like quite soon after it opened. And I didn't know that Paul was such a Disney fan. He'd mentioned that he'd been on some good holidays there, but I guess the family bug started when we decided to go for the first time as a family in 2019.
Yeah.
So, were you waiting for the kids to be a certain age before you decided to go?
Yeah, I think we were a bit nervous about the long flight with very little kids more than anything. So the first time we went, James was 7 and Charlotte was just 4.
So, Charlotte, you won't remember anything about the first time you went, or do you remember anything?
Not really.
Do you remember it, James? Because you were, what, 7?
Yeah, it was very cool.
All your friends jealous when you got back?
Not really.
No?
I didn't tell anything.
Oh, dear.
You didn't tell them? Oh, you should be shouting from the rooftops. So as a family then, why do you love Walt Disney World? So as a family, you've been now 3 times, all 4 of you together. What is it you love about Disney World?
I think for me, it's the fact you can go as a family and kind of be in that environment that you nothing else kind of comes into it. People talk on the podcast, people talk about the bubble, and I think it is true. You're in there and it's a very enclosed environment. You can kind of just have a good time, and the fact that we can go as a family of all ages and everybody has something they can take out and have that good time together. I guess that's what the original Disneyland was set up to do, and kind of really do feel that when you're in the parks, I think.
Certainly our last couple of trips, my mum has actually come with us as well, who's in her 70s, and it really does offer something for everybody in the family. Everyone's got something they can enjoy.
Yeah.
Where do you usually stay when you go then? Are you a family stays on site, or do you keep the cost down?
We haven't stayed on site. So when I went kind of as a child, we always stayed in villas. And I remember there is driving kind of backwards and forwards, and the sort of the commute into the parks. But then kind of the trips we've taken as a family, we've stayed just off site. So we stay at a place that's kind of just outside the Disney Springs entrance to Walt Disney World. And that kind of gives us the space we want.
Yeah.
So like an apartment complex, it gives us more space for the budget, but it's right next to property, so still have all that easy access.
I wouldn't rule out staying on property in the future, though. There's one or two hotels I'm eyeing up, but it's budget permitting, Andy.
Which ones, Catherine? Where would you like to stay?
Well, I do think the Riviera looks pretty nice, and we went and popped in the Grand Floridian and had a look, didn't we, on our last trip? And I have to admit that I could see myself there, Andy.
Well, you were there. You don't have to stay there to be there.
For a longer stay.
For a little bit longer than a couple of hours or whatever.
That's it. Yeah.
We'll be back with Paul and family in just a moment. A news update from Disney World. There's a new popcorn bucket for Halloween. Yeah, old story. You can also see Miguel from Coco at Epcot in the Mexican Showcase. He'll be there making appearances with the band till October the 15th. We've got a new menu at Pecos Bill's over in Frontierland. There's some build-your-own bowls that you can do, your entrees, including a chili burger. There's some new flatbreads on the menu. And we've got more details about Jollywood Nights over at Hollywood Studios, which starts this November through to Christmas. Remember, it was the first one last year. It wasn't great. The first few especially were a bit of a disaster, but then it got better towards the end. This one looks really good. So we'll have a lot of the returning shows from last year. There's going to be a brand new skating show this year, which you can see if you've got tickets for Jollywood Nights. It's called Glisten. A few of the other things you can do. There's some photo opportunities, including now this caught my eye because this has gone a little bit under the radar. You can step behind the scenes of the Muppets Christmas Carol. Oh, I want to know more about that. Hopefully it's going to be really good. I do have tickets for Jollywood Nights and the Christmas party in November, so I will feed back on that. Also, at the end of the night, as you're leaving, you do get a little gift. You get some champagne truffles, but I'm more interested in the box because it's got Kermit and Miss Piggy on it. Tickets still on sale, I think, for all the Jollywood Nights parties right now. Any more news between now and the next podcast in 2 weeks? Catch up on our socials at Pod Magical is where we are. Let's get back to the Price family. We have the Price family on this episode of the podcast. I want to talk about some of your favourite Walt Disney World things. Let's talk about your favourite attraction. Have you all got a different favourite attraction?
So I think now we do. I think previous trips, 2019, and probably last time, I think we would have all said it was soaring.
Yeah.
That's a big favourite ride. That's a family favourite.
Still a family favourite. And I think now, I would say it's Guardians. And I think, James, would you say the same?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably Big Thunder Mountain.
Okay, so you're pretty brave.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I have a real soft spot for Splash Mountain, or I guess Tiana's Bio Adventure now, but that's one of my favourites.
What was it like? Because I haven't been on the new Splash Mountain. I'd still call it Splash Mountain, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. What was it like? Did you enjoy it as much?
I did actually. I have to admit, I was a bit concerned I wouldn't like it as much, and there's that nostalgia, isn't there, about the old ride, and I was worried that it would lose something. But actually, the new theming is really good, and the ride is as good as ever. You still get very, very wet if you sit at the front, as we found out.
As we found out, yeah.
Having been since 1992, were there any rides that you wish they'd never have got rid of?
Not bring back. I have memories of going on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So kind of obviously that's gone, and the whole Fantasyland redevelopment. But that kind of actually that is a memory now. I think that sort of sticks from early trips. Is one of the first rides we went on. I think actually it's not a ride, but a thing that we really enjoyed in 2019 was the Jedi training at Hollywood Studios, and that kind of went away kind of around the time of COVID. I don't know if it was purely kind of a COVID cost cutting. But that's never come back, and we really enjoyed that. And the kids enjoyed doing it. And we enjoyed kind of seeing them do it. So it's a shame that's gone. But the signs have gone now. Like they've taken all the theming down. So I think it's not going to come back again.
Would you still do that, James, if it came back?
I would, but I'm kind of reaching the upper limit of the kind of age they would have allowed people to do it.
I think 12's the cut-off, isn't it? So
all right.
Yeah.
Too old for it now?
Too old, yeah.
I know.
You're an old man now, James.
We've got some great photos of you doing it, especially when Charlotte went the first time and she was very little. Some great photos of fighting Kylo Ren, which are quite funny.
Come up to his knees.
What about food? Do you like to eat in Disney World? Have you got favourite restaurants?
We do like to eat in Disney World. That's kind of one of the attractions is the range of dining, I think, and I think trying to fit it in is the problem, isn't it? There's kind of too many good options, and as you go on more trips, kind of you keep accumulating, new favourites. You have to try and still make room to try others. So we've got a good. We like Disney Springs. There's lots of good options at Disney Springs. Probably, I think I like Homecomin. I know you do as well.
Yeah, I should be on commission for Homecomin. Every podcast was. I believe you. I love the Homecomin. Yeah,
it's great food. We had great server this time. We had a really good meal. I like chicken and donuts. It's my favourite there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really like the Boathouse as well. We've had some really great meals there. So the steak at the Boathouse is really good, and the cocktails are also good. So a Duck Raz is one of my guilty pleasures when I'm at Disney.
Is that the one that you get the little rubber ducky in top of it's like a martini, isn't it?
That's right. It's like a raspberry martini with a little rubber duck in the top.
And then do you all fight over who keeps the duck at the end of it?
I don't share the ducks.
No.
Mum keeps the ducks. What about you, James and Charlotte? Where do you like to eat? Have you got any favourites?
One I actually discovered just last time we went was Enzos Hideaway in Disney Springs.
Not been there.
It was nice, wasn't it? It was unexpectedly nice. We kind of went to try it out.
It's just got a really nice atmosphere. Theming's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, food was very nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
it seemed like a sort of speakeasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you sort of go down some steps to it and it's underground.
Yeah.
But really nice food. And again, it was really good service in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Did you find because you were staying kind of like that end of Orlando near the Disney Springs and you got to go to more of the Disney Springs restaurants? Because I find sometimes if I'm staying at Disney Hotel and I'm near the theme parks, I tend to be drawn to the theme parks where there's loads of places I want to eat at Disney Springs, but I never get round to it apart from Homecomin every time.
Yeah. we kind of plan our days around assuming we're going to go most nights to somewhere at the parks for dinner. And more often than not, it's Disney Springs.
Yeah.
Because we stay at that end, I guess it does help with it's just we tend to think that way. But no, it was the first place we went in 2019. Kind of landed, dropped our bags off. That was the first place on Disney property we all went. And we kind of just plan on it for dinner now. So,
do you time quite late dinners? Do you stay till fireworks at 9 and then go to Disney Springs and eat really late, or do you go? Do you know what? We'll do the fireworks once, but then a few nights.
That's it.
Go to
So we we tend to stay trying to get to the parks fairly early. Maybe not quite rope drop, but try and get there as close as we can, and then kind of by about sort of 6, aim to come away, go to Disney, go somewhere and have dinner. Either go back to the resort and eat in the resort and swim, or go and get dinner. And then we'll plan some nights where we'll plan to stay late and kind of stay to the end of the night in the park and see the fireworks.
If we have a night where we plan to stay and see the fireworks or the evening show, like if we're waiting for Fantasmic in Hollywood Studios, then we tend to plan to eat dinner in the parks.
Yeah.
So we sort of mix it up.
Who's first to flag as the day goes on? Who's the first one to start complaining that they're tired?
Yeah, that is a good question,
not the kids.
Actually.
It's usually one of us gets crabby, probably, rather than complaining we're tired.
Yeah.
You can tell.
The kids can just go all day.
Where you get a little bit overheated, don't you? And one of the things that we did learn this time actually is a good tactic can be to go out of the park and go to a resort nearby and just have a bit of a rest and a sit down. And that can give you a bit of a second burst of energy later in the afternoon.
It can give your brain a bit of a rest as well, because there's a lot of overstimulation going on. But if you nip out to Grand Floridian and pretend that you could stay there, you can just chill a little bit and unwind, and then head back in and go for part 2 of the day. What was the weather like, by the way, when you went over summer this year? Was it pretty hot?
It was hot, and we were lucky. It was very settled, actually. We didn't have any rain for the first week.
Oh, right.
Yes, which is unusual. So it was hot though. It was well in the 30s, and kind of the feels like temperature was closer to 40 most days. And then the second week was more of a standard kind of Florida in the summer. We had a couple of fairly heavy downpours that kind of kept us under a canopy somewhere for an hour or so. But actually, we're pretty lucky, I think, this time. It was quite settled.
You sort of dodge in and out of the air conditioning, don't you? And sort of try and minimise the amount of time that you're outside for a long time when it's that hot. But it's the balance, isn't it, between kind of busyness of the parks and the weather as well? Because August is very hot, but it's also quite a quiet time to go, or can be.
Was it just when the American schools went back as well?
Yeah, so we went for the last 2 weeks of the UK summer holiday, which is a tip I got in 2019 when we were 2018 when we were starting to price up a holiday. I just happened to speak to a travel agent, and they kind of said, well, when do you want to go? I said, well, in the summer holidays. And it was their recommendation to go that last fortnight. And have no control, because we've only, no control experiment. We've only done that 2 weeks, but certainly doesn't feel that busy. It's quite manageable.
How far ahead do you usually book then?
Getting on for we like to have it planned so we know it's coming.
Totally. So
usually kind of probably 15, probably the spring before. So getting on for 18 months out, we'll kind of get it booked, and then we've got it to look forward to then.
And you book
planning is part of the fun, isn't it?
Of course it is. You can make a 2-week holiday an entire year long, because you can start looking for things.
Absolutely.
And did you book it as a package with the flights and the tickets and everything like that, and the villa?
We did, yeah. So we've done that for all 3 holidays through different travel agents, but effectively it's different versions of the same holiday. So we've always stayed at that same, the same place off site.
Yeah.
And then, first time we were very lucky. We went with Thomas Cook, and we got it in just before, literally just before they went out of business. So we were kind of lucky not to lose that holiday. And then.
Did you use Genie Plus Lightning Lanes this time round?
We did. So it moved over to the new system by the time we went. Yeah. So we did do that. So we've had 2019 was FastPass, and then 2022 was Genie Plus, and then this time was the multipass system. So actually we've tried all 3 in the last 3 holidays.
And how was it? Was it just like FastPass, but you had to pay for it?
Pretty much, yes. So, which is a bit galling. It's if you add it up over, if you use it extensively over the holiday, it gets quite expensive.
Yeah.
And yes, it's very similar. What I would say is the interface is very good. I found using the app and booking it very straightforward. And it's I guess the fact, remember in 2019 staying off site. And only been able to book, 30 days out for each day. There was kind of this whole block of time where I had to remember to go on each day and book my rides and whatever. And usually at work, that's tricky. So actually being able to do it for the whole holiday this time, but only 3 days out, was kind of better. I just had to block out a lunchtime at work and sit down and do it.
So did you? Yeah, you can only book it 3 days before the actual day that you're using it.
Yeah, that's right. And I was a bit concerned when that was announced. I was quite concerned because my ranking was sort of remembering from FastPass. If you when you went in as a non-resort guest and tried to book stuff, there were a lot of the big rides were always gone at that point. But actually, it worked quite well. So I like my planning. I like my data. So I found a website recently called Thrill Data, and it pulls a lot of the sort of statistics out of the Disney system and plots it on their website. So you can see all the lightning lane availability over the whole period it's available into the future, kind of plotted on their website. So I was able to kind of sit down and sort of map out based on the rides I really wanted to get. Did I need to go straight to the end of the holiday and book that first, or did I start at the beginning and work through? So I had a bit of a strategy to try and make sure we got the ones we wanted.
So how many days did you use it for?
So we used it most days. We kind of took the view that we'd, although the parks probably would be quite quiet, it's an expensive holiday, and kind of hate to look to save a few £100 and miss out on things we really wanted to do. So we used it. We didn't use it We didn't use the multipass at Animal Kingdom because there really isn't a huge amount to book there. So it's probably not worth money, even though it's the cheapest. But we used the single pass most days to get the big rides. So we did use it at Animal Kingdom there, and we used it on Guardians, and we used it on Tron. And then we used it on Rise of the Resistance. So we had kind of a single pass most days we were in Disney. And then we used the multipass for when we were in the other three parks, so Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot. I'd say Epcot, you kind of don't need it, except if you want to kind of shorten your queue for Remy's or for Frozen. So it kind of becomes another single pass almost. You kind of you buy it for that one ride. You're not getting anything else, yeah. You can get other stuff. So we got Remy's and Frozen done. I think at least 2 of the days we were in Epcot, by booking lanes. So it doesn't sell out. You kind of have to book one of those in advance, but we did get the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. So it seemed to work quite well for us for the system, but I think a bit like Genie Plus, I think you have to stay all day to get the value.
You find that the ones that come up get later and later in the day, don't you? So it's a bit of a trade-off between how late you want to stay in the parks and the balance of getting rides done to other things you might want to do as well.
That's it. Yeah.
So were you booking your 3 days before? So did you have to set yourself a reminder on, say, Tuesday to go, oh, right, it's Tuesday, I need to get Friday's Lightning Lane or anything like that?
No. So it's at 3 days out with the UK date-based tickets, you can book for the whole duration of your ticket dates.
Oh, I get you now.
Yeah, so that was the bit that worried me when it was first announced. I thought it was like Fast Pass. So I was like, well, we're going to pay nice money, but we'll still have all the issues we had last time with access staying off site. But no, because it's the whole duration of your ticket, it meant like we flew on the Thursday. On the Monday, I just blocked out an hour over lunchtime when it opened up for the day.
Yeah.
It meant because you have that whole window for things like Tiana's and some of the rides that we knew were going to be more popular. I kind of started at the end and looked at the last day. I knew we were going to be in Magic Kingdom and there was plenty of availability then. If I went to the start of the holiday, it was only kind of, I think we were in Magic Kingdom a few days in. So it was like 5 or 6 days out from the date I was booking them. And then, a lot of the rides were gone in terms of the big rides. Yeah. But later in the holiday,
there's more availability. Yeah. So even if you're not using it every day, you still got the whole availability. So say you were going for the week, so you could do the Monday and the Friday. Yeah. But
that's it. And because you can see before you pay, that's the other good thing is you can kind of see what the availability is before you actually pay. So if you can go in, see what you could get, and if there's nothing you could get that you wanted, then you don't have to actually do it.
All right, it seems like definitely a better system than Genie Plus, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't mind Genie Plus, but it was the fact that if you didn't want to stay late in the day, then you didn't really get the value out of it, I felt.
Well, I'm going to give you your perfect day now at Walt Disney World. Now, you're going around Disney World as a family, so no squabbling here, no falling out about where we're going and what we're doing and where we're staying and where we're eating. But what would the perfect Disney World day for the Price family be? Where would you start?
So I think we'd probably start at Riviera, wouldn't we, having been and visited it.
I think something we all really enjoyed doing on our last trip was having the character breakfast at Topolinos Terrace. Because it was a really nice combination of great atmosphere, really good food, and you get to meet Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Daisy all in one go. And so in an ideal world, I guess we'd be waking up at the Riviera, but failing that, we'll have breakfast at the Riviera.
Now, I have to ask you a question about your breakfast at the Riviera, because I always say, to get your money's worth, go for the steak. Now, I believe you didn't have the steak.
Paul. No, we didn't. No, I couldn't face kind of such a big, heavy breakfast and then rides. So, no, so I had the bacon and eggs, which probably isn't the best.
How much is it these days for Riviera, for Topolinos?
It was about $17 odd per person. I think for five of us, it was about £300 for breakfast. So it's not a cheap meal.
I think you're paying for the atmosphere and the character experience as much as you are for the food with that one.
And for that, it's worth it. And the food was really nice. Like, I can't fault the food, can't fault the service. But yeah, it's not cheap bacon and eggs for sure.
No, and they don't give you the other side as well now, do they? It's literally just you choose your meal. You still get your bread basket and stuff, but you don't get. Sometimes you used to pick another main as a side, but they don't do that now.
No, I didn't chance my arm. I thought about asking, but I got a bit embarrassed, so no.
I had the waffles and they were really good. I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, so the waffles went down well.
Should have asked. Closed mouths don't get fed, is what they say. Should have asked. Anyway, sorry, I've ruined your day, or I've interrupted your day. We're only at breakfast. Where else are we going?
So should we take the Skyliner next?
I think we take the Skyliner. And which way we're heading?
EPCOT?
Yeah, I think EPCOT.
Okay.
I think we head to EPCOT. And then I'd want to tick off. I guess only the front half of the park's open when we get there, so I'd be ticking off the rides around.
What rides do you want to do at EPCOT, kids?
Guardians.
Guardians, without doubt, it's Guardians.
Soaring is a must-do.
Yeah.
We all really enjoy Livin With The Land as well. It's a bit of a nostalgic one, isn't it? But that's one in our must-do, and it's a nice little sit-down, isn't it, in the aircon as well?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And then I guess when the World Showcase opens, we'll head round there.
I think we'll head round, we'll tick off, and we'll turn left. Always have to turn left.
Yeah, you have to go left. I know it's controversial, but we like to go left.
I think most people go left.
Yeah. Mexico way first.
That's it. And then, so we tick off Frozen, wouldn't we, Charlotte? And we like just kind of wandering around World Showcase and sort of taking it all in.
Yeah, I think you can spend a lot of time, can't you, just sort of taking in the atmosphere and exploring the different pavilions and doing a little bit of shopping on your way around and things. So we enjoy a sort of a leisurely lap of the World Showcase.
That's it.
Leisurely lap.
And then for lunch, Via Napoli is one of our favourite spots, isn't it, in Epcot? Really like the pizza there. I'm not sure we'll be able to eat it after that big Topolinos.
I don't know. I think
we'll have a go.
I think on a dream day we'll probably tick off all the big meals. But I think on a real stomach, probably
pizza window.
Maybe pizza window for a slice. That's quite good for a quick. That's it. Or Regal Eagle Smokehouse we like as well in the American Pavilion.
That's a good quick service option, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think we'd probably work around. We'd tick off Remy's on the way around the other end, and then I think probably head back out International Gateway. And if it was, it's me. We've not discussed it in detail, but I'd get on the Skyliner and head over to Hollywood Studios.
You're taking control now, Paul. He's taking control.
I'm sorry. Well, I think that'll probably take most of the day. Probably, I think when we sort of do Epcot on a leisurely lap, I think that's probably quite
it's early afternoon.
Part of the day.
I think if we're catering to everyone, we have to have a bit of Star Wars in our day, don't we, James?
Yes.
So maybe a bit of a wander around Galaxy's Edge at the end of the afternoon.
I think so. I think we obviously the queues aren't an issue, so we get on Rise of the Resistance, get on Smuggler's Run.
Would there be time for Slinky Dog?
I think there's always time for Slinky Dog.
Yeah, we're making time, Catherine.
And then what are we doing for dinner?
I think if you could fit a third big meal in, I'd be jumping in the minivan and heading over to the boathouse for a dinner on the outside at the on the dock outside, which is our favourite place to stay.
So we'll have to eat really, really fast, and then are we minivanning back to Magic Kingdom for the fireworks? Can we fit it in?
So. I think we can fit it in, yeah.
So
do you think that's doable, Andy?
No, but, on a perfect day, who am I to criticise? When you were over at Disney Springs, by the way, was it still the drone show? I know it's finished now. It finished a week or two ago.
It was.
Did you catch that?
We caught it just at the end before it finished, yeah.
It was really, really good, actually. We really enjoyed it. But what I would say is it made Disney Springs busier than we've seen it before in the evenings. I think maybe because it was the last week or two that it was on, a lot of people were coming in to see it. So really enjoyed it. It was a really nice thing to see, but it definitely made Disney Springs feel a bit busier.
Just before you go, what's your all-time favourite Walt Disney World memory? Your favourite family memory?
So for me, is it the same one? For me, it was probably Happily Ever After this time.
Yeah, we'd waited a long time to see it, hadn't we?
It's definitely up there for me.
Yeah.
James and Charlotte, can you see easily the fireworks?
So we can, but because you're not the tallest, are you, Charlotte? Because you're not, as the youngest of the group, you're the shortest of us, and so that was kind of genuinely a concern, I think, seeing the fireworks from Main Street. So we've done twice now. We did the dessert party for Enchantment last time, and then we did one again for Happily Ever After this time, and that makes a difference. It's much less crowded, kind of in that area where they get you to stand, and you can get in So actually that was a tip that someone gave. I read somewhere, and it seemed to work. Is if you do the dessert party after the fireworks, then you can go in from 8 o'clock into the area and kind of get the best of the best area or the best spot in that area as well.
And then you've got more time in the desserts afterwards because they're not chucking you out for the next one to come in. Yeah,
take your time.
That's it. Glass of prosecco and a nice dessert to look forward to afterwards as well.
But that was just a really nice night. It was quite relaxed in that area. We got in kind of not long after 8 to try and get a good spot. And there was a cast member doing a kind of a Disney trivia quiz for everyone who was in there. And got chatting to a really nice couple who were next to us with their daughter, kind of while we were waiting.
Bit of healthy competition on the Disney trivia, wasn't there?
That's it, yeah. And then got to see the show, which we didn't see in 2019. We managed to miss it for various reasons.
Yeah, in 2019 we were a bit unlucky with weather days. We went to Magic Kingdom and got rained out a couple of times, so we didn't manage it. And the kids were a bit smaller as well, so staying up a bit later was more difficult. Then of course when we went back last time, it was Enchantment, not Happily Ever After. So it was nice to finally see it.
Yeah. And I won't ask you, Catherine, how many free glasses of prosecco you had. You want to give me a ballpark? I should ask the kids, how many glasses of wine did Mum have at the fireworks?
I didn't keep count.
Oh, that's the right answer.
Very diplomatic answer, James.
Yeah. But how many cakes did you have, James and Charlotte?
They actually go for that many of the cakes when I think about it.
You had cookies last time. Remember, they do decorate your own cookies. Decorating cookies.
Ice your own cookies, can't you? And they do kind of pancakes as well, like crepes and other things. So it's quite tricky to eat your money's worth in the time that you get.
And also that late at night when they're just pumping you with so much sugar, especially after a full day at Disney, sometimes you go, I've had a little bit now. It's just like, I've had enough.
That's true. I think the value in the event is the sort of the watching the fireworks in the in a more quiet area. I think the drinks and the cakes are kind of a nice add-on, but probably not where you get the value.
Yeah.
And also,
I would say though, is it's nice to go and have a little sit down, isn't it, afterwards, and the park's sort of emptying out, so you miss all of that rush, get your dessert, and then leave when things are a little bit quieter.
Just an easier end to the evening. And have you got another holiday booked? Are you considering a time to go back? Are you thinking about it?
It's not booked yet, but we're hoping to go back. We kind of probably August 2026. So we kind of think that every couple of years works for us. I think there's enough time for things to some things to have changed and sort of see some new stuff each time. Enough time to save up. Which is quite important
thing, isn't it?
And Charlotte, you'll be a little bit taller next time in 2 years.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Fabulous to have you on the podcast. I know, Paul, we've been chatting for years, so thank you for your support of the podcast as well. But the Price family, Paul, Catherine, James and Charlotte, have a magical day.
Have a magical day.
You too.
As always, we're always looking for podcast guests. If you have just come back from Disney World, or even if you haven't been for ages, you fancy coming on and talking about it. It's the best thing about going to Disney World. Even if you're not there, it's the planning and then the talking about it after. So come on the podcast, share some of your stories, share some of your magic with us. Just send me a message at PodMagical. I'll arrange a time. We'll get you on the podcast. If you are going to be going to Orlando soon, temperatures still in the low 30s, and we've still got those afternoon showers. It's not too busy at the minute. Pound to dollar has been hovering about 1.32. Not too bad at the moment. We are into the Halloween season with Horror Nights over at Universal and Not So Scary Halloween Party at the Magic Kingdom, which of course means that Happily Ever After isn't on every night, and when it is on, it's going to be busy in Magic Kingdom for the fireworks for that one. Food and wine continues at Epcot with The Wanted on this weekend. Yes, legendary British boy band The Wanted make their Epcot food and wine debut at Eat to the Beat this weekend. You've also got Aloe Black in a couple of weeks, 4th and 5th of October. And here is a top tip for this episode. There's quite a few things tied into this, but it made me think, I was seeing something on the news about one of the royals who uses the Apple AirTags for their kids. So obviously sometimes you've got Apple AirTags, you stick them in your suitcase to see where your cases are. Well, how about that for your kids? Because if you panic about whether they're going to get lost in the theme parks, and really they are quite safe because they're not really going to be going too far. So what about Apple AirTags on your kids? It's always good as well, first thing in the day, just to take a fun photograph of what they are wearing. Then, if they do go missing, you've got a picture of what they're wearing for that day that you can show people. And probably the best thing is, and do this as soon as you go to the parks, show your kids where the blue umbrella information places are. There's quite a few around in all the parks. It's where you go if you've got problems with your lightning lanes or dining reservations or your My Disney Experience or anything like that. But it's the first place to go. If the kids get lost or you lose the kids, go to one of the little blue umbrellas and ask one of the cast members there going, I've lost a kid or I am lost. Because if you go to one and they go to another, before you know it, you can be reunited. So it's just good to do on that first day because there are a lot of people at Disney World. You're pretty safe, but it's good to know. It's good to have that security of what to do and where to go if you get lost. If you've got any top tips, do let me know. @PodMagical is where we are. Hit that subscribe button because we've got brand new episodes coming out every other week. If you haven't done so, by the way, if you could just give us a 5-star review, particularly on Apple Podcasts, just hit that 5-star. It just helps people find us a little bit more and share us on the socials. That would be great. Back in a couple of weeks then for more magic. Until then, please stand clear of the doors.